Hello friends, it's Sandra here, bringing you a fresh dive into something I am absolutely passionate about: gut health, brain science, and of course, sourdough bread. Today we're exploring a little known but game-changing story of Lactobacillus reuteri, how it boosts oxytocin, supports the immune system, and transforms our health from the inside out. I'll share insights, science-backed facts, and practical tips, all in my signature style that keeps it real, informative, and a little fun, of course. So grab your headphones and maybe a slice of sourdough, gluten-free of course, and let's get started. So what is Lactobacillus reuteri? And we're going to call that L. reuteri. It's a type of lactic acid bacteria originally discovered in the 1960s. It's naturally found in the intestines of humans and many animals. But here's the kicker. It used to be much more common in humans, especially in traditional populations. Unfortunately, with changes in our diet, lifestyle, and widespread antibiotics use, we've essentially lost much of its beneficial species. But L. reuteri isn't just any probiotic. While many strains help balance gut bacteria, L. reuteri, and particularly that strains like DSM 17938, goes further. It's known to stimulate oxytocin production in the brain. That's right, the so-called love hormone we usually associate with bonding, empathy, and even stress relief. Research like the work by Sgritta and colleagues in 2019 has shown that mice supplemented with L. reuteri became more social, healed faster, and showed lower markers of inflammation. It's one of the few microbes with a clear impact on brain signaling and behavior. Let's pause for a second on oxytocin. Most of us know it from its role in childbirth and breastfeeding, where it helps with uterine contractions and milk letdown. But oxytocin is much more. It's a neurochemical ambassador of connection, empathy, social bonding, and even resilience. When we think about the gut-brain axis, this is a perfect example. Certain gut bacteria, including L. reuteri, produce metabolites that signal through the vagus nerve or directly affect the brain, encouraging oxytocin release. This means the right microbes might not just improve digestion, they could help us feel calmer, more connected, and more resilient to stress. So how do we acquire Lactobacillus reuteri? In traditional societies, mothers pass it on to their babies during birth and through breastfeeding. It's part of their microbiome seeding process that sets up the infant's gut and immune system. This transfer is crucial because L. reuteri may help babies tolerate the flood of new antigens they're exposed to in the world. But in modern life, with sterile births and less exposure to traditional foods and environments, this transmission often gets disrupted. It's one reason why supplementation or reintroduction of L. reuteri is being explored for infants, especially those at risk of allergies or colic. Now, here's something even more fascinating. L. reuteri doesn't just stay in the gut. It can travel from the mother's intestines to her breast tissue, enriching her milk with beneficial microbes. This journey occurs via what's known as the enteromammary pathway. So here's how it works. Dendritic cells in the gut sample bacteria like L. reuteri and transport them through the lymphatic system to the mammary glands. Once in the mammary tissue, these bacteria are secreted into breast milk, providing the nursing infant with beneficial microbes. This process not only helps establish the infant's gut microbiota, but also plays a role in developing their immune system. Studies have confirmed the presence of L. reuteri in human breast milk, particularly in mothers from rural areas, suggesting environmental and dietary factors influence its prevalence. So breastfeeding doesn't just provide nutrition, It's a means of transferring beneficial microbes like Reuteri from mother to child, supporting the infant's health from the very beginning. Now let's talk about the bread on the table. Sourdough fermentation is an ancient practice involving white yeasts and lactic acid bacteria, including sometimes strains of Reuteri. However, baking at high temperatures kills most live bacteria. Does that mean sourdough has no benefits? Not so fast. The fermentation process produces postbiotics, the metabolic byproducts of the bacteria. These include exopolysaccharides, bioactive peptides, and organic acids. Even though the bacteria are dead, these compounds can still influence our gut, reduce inflammation, and even modulate the immune system. Studies like those by Aguilar-Toalá and colleagues in 2021 highlight how postbiotics can mimic some probiotic effects. Plus, sourdough's fermentation reduces gluten and FODMAPs, making the bread more digestible and delicious. FODMAPs, which stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. And those are short-chain carbohydrates and sugar alcohols that are poorly absorbed in the small intestine, which means that when they reach the colon, they are rapidly fermented by the gut bacteria there, producing gas and drawing water into the bowel. This can cause bloating, gas, diarrhea, and lots of discomfort, so especially for those with gut sensitivities. So one can wonder, if the bacteria are dead in sourdough, can the postbiotics still affect oxytocin? And I'm very happy because recent research suggests that yes. While direct evidence is still growing, certain postbiotics compounds like short-chain fatty acids and bacterial cell fragments can stimulate the vagus nerve, reduce systemic inflammation, and promote a more balanced neurochemical environment. In fact, studies have shown that even sterile lysates of Reuteri, meaning completely dead bacteria, can increase oxytocin production in animal models, enhance social behavior, and even promote healing. In other words, even if you're eating dead bacteria in sourdough, you're still consuming the biochemical footprints, and those footprints may support your gut-brain axis, nurturing a state of greater connection, calm, and resilience. Now let's put this all together. Reuteri is a remarkable microbe, uniquely capable of supporting oxytocin production, immune balance, and gut health. Even if we no longer carry it naturally, we can still reintroduce its benefits through fermented foods, supplementation, and yes, through postbiotic-rich sourdough. Postbiotics aren't just leftovers. They are active messengers that support digestion, reduce inflammation, and potentially enhance oxytocin pathways. It's a natural, food-based approach that resonates with our biology, so much more holistic than just popping a pill. But beyond the science lies something deeper. When a mother passes Reuteri through birth and breast milk, she's not just transferring microbes, she's transferring a molecular signal of care, resilience, and connection. This tiny bacterium is a living symbol of the invisible threads that bind us, of love, trust, and a profound relationship between our biology and our social world. So the next time you bite into a tangy, crusty sourdough, remember you're not just feeding your body, you're partaking in a story of connection, a microbial message that has echoed through generations, nurturing both our gut and our capacity to love and bond. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive on Lactobacillus reuteri, oxytocin, and the magic of sourdough. If you want to learn more, grab my free guide to gluten-free sourdough and the science behind it. And if you're already ready to bake, check out my gluten-free sourdough starter kit. You'll find all the links in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who loves science, human connection, and good bread. Stay curious, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next time. This was Sandra, PhD in nutrition and French pastry chef, from Paris to Arizona.